Well, we're about to learn that in just a moment. So, I am Dr. Regina. I am a double board certified psychiatrist and a lifestyle medicine person, lifestyle medicine physician. So, cool thing about that is that I'm usually sitting behind the desk and I can diagnose a person if they need it for evaluation. They need it for work. They need accommodations, all those kinds of things. That's what I get to do during my day job. But in the evening, I get to go home to my beautifully neurodiverse family, and we've got all the things. We have all the things, which is kind of cool. So when I talk to patients, I usually get where they're coming from. I don't get everything, I'm not in their skin, but I get a lot of things, a lot more than the average person would get. And all this month, I'm going to be talking about autism. But let me tell you something that most parents are going to show the front face. You're never going to see the back, right? Those are the things that we're not going to show. And I shared a variety of reasons why you're not necessarily going to see all the things. And I've only got 4 minutes to do this before my next patient. So let me do it and do it fairly quickly. But you're going to see the memes. I am an autism mom and I cannot die. And we all laugh and chuckle. And if you know it and you get it, you're like, yeah, because there's so many things. And if something happened to me, then where's my kid going to go? Who's going to take care of my kid? But the dark side of that, the bad side of that is that we do stay up at night sometimes worrying about the what ifs. What if something happened to me? Who's going to take care of this or that? That's why you see the advertisements for special needs trusts, or you see the advertisements for ABLE accounts, because we want to make sure our kids are financially available and able, right? Love the fact that they call it the ABLE account, that our kids are going to be okay. What you probably don't see, and you might, I haven't decided if I'm going to share it or not, but this was something that happened last year. But there was an incident on a bus where a bus driver aide inappropriately, spoiler alert, this is where you pause and take off and don't watch the rest of this for now, unless you feel like you're in a good, safe space. 3, 2, 1. Where a person inappropriately touched a child who had a different ability, including children on the bus who had autism. And this is where you had moms like me who have children that are non-speaking. I won't say nonverbal because he can be verbal. We have children that are non-speaking that are at a disadvantage for a couple of reasons. You didn't see my tears, right? I recorded it and I kept it for myself. I haven't shared it, but I might share it for you. But you don't see our tears, not generally. We're not going to post that stuff, right? That's our private, grief time. You don't see the grieving that we have. In that particular situation, I was grieving because my son could not tell me if he was inappropriately touched. There was no camera recording of it. They wiped the cameras after 30 days. That's another ongoing fight with the system that re-records over things for whatever reasons that they do that. When I talked to the police officers about the investigation, they were happy with themselves because they were able to get some recordings and they were able to put the person behind bars almost immediately, get them off of the bus so they weren't hurting anyone else. Kudos for that. I'm grateful. I stand in solidarity with the officers on that. However, as a mom, I was really frustrated with the system that was not made for our kids, right? A recording that stops after 30 days when we know our kids are the highest likelihood of being sexually abused, sexually assaulted, physically assaulted. And there wasn't a lot of um, there wasn't a lot that could be done. The officers basically said, there was no protocol. When I started making investigations and asking questions about, well, what happens at children and youth? Are they even trained to interview our kids who may be non-speaking or use sign language? No one knew, right? Jury's still out on that one. When I asked about, okay, what are the protocols in place? I was told that different counties do it differently, which means that Howard County might do it one way, Montgomery County does it another way, Carroll County, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County. They all have different ways of doing it. I got to talk to senators, diplomats, delegates, got to talk to people that the governor has put in place for some of these things and was told that it's important, but right now, things like wandering elopement and traffic stops are a bit more of a higher priority, which I totally get. You're not going to see the autism mom in me sit at home with my head in my hands, just wondering, where do I start? There's so many different places. Do I enroll my kid in swim classes? Do I put him in some kind of program where he can do speech to text, so that he can verbalize himself a little bit better? What do I do as the autism mom? Right? You don't see the conversations behind the scenes where I might look at things one way and my husband might look at them a slightly different way. We've got the same overall vision, but we want to come at it a slightly different way. You probably have heard the statistics about marriages that might end in divorce, but guess what? What you don't know is it happens at different times. If the child is diagnosed at one stage of time, it looks one way. If the child is diagnosed at another stage, it looks a different way. Depending on the pecking order of the sibling, it can look yet a different way. You don't get to see those things that we grapple with as autism parents. You don't get to see the fact that we're constantly coordinating multiple bits of care for our kids, and it takes a lot of time. You get to see our public pain when something bad happens, when one of our kids have an inappropriate or unfortunate encounter with law enforcement or with the teacher or with the bus driver. You don't see that we're crying behind the other side of the glass when our kids are in outpatient programs or in hospital programs to try to get their behavior better. You're just can't they just get their child under control when they're in the grocery store acting out? You don't see us investing our time on the other end trying to figure out what's the best thing. You don't see us when we're going through the med management changes. Can't you just put them on a medicine, special medicine? You don't get to see when I've tried all the different things and I've tried the different medicines and me jump at the opportunity to get my child on XYZ medicine only to be told that company no longer makes it. Company is not making enough. So they're not gonna allow you to have the medicine. Or you don't get to see the side effects. The child that stays up all night on the floor with both parents on either side, just rubbing them on the floor because we didn't know. Yeah, we knew he was allergic to clindamycin. Yeah, we knew he was allergic to Keflex, but who's allergic to phenylephrine? That's in every cough medicine that you can think about. You don't get to see us hold him on the floor while he shakes as if he's withdrawing from a drug, which he really was, right? You don't get to see us stay up for 24 hours at a time. And when we come to an appointment late and you complain that why can't she ever be on time? You don't know what I went through the night before. The fact that I was up all night with my kids who were all sick and gave me this cold and I lost my voice. But then I'm doing everything I can to get up, drink my coffee, make sure I'm lucid so that I can be 5 minutes late for your appointment and then hear you in the background complain, why can't she ever be on time? You don't see that. You don't get to hear that, right? Because generally we're not going to come on a forum like this and tell you those things, right? You don't get to see or hear that we're not just concerned about the child who's on the autism spectrum. We're also concerned about the siblings of the child on the autism spectrum who have their own anxiety about what's going to happen when mom and dad are no longer here, or when mom and dad want to go on a vacation and everything falls on me, right? Being a sibling of a child with autism, not easy. Okay, not easy. Not easy. And it's a challenge for parents and for the siblings because who's going to take care of them once they're of age and maybe have aged out of the system? And again, if something happens to us, or we just want them independent, living their own life in their own area, what element of support are the siblings, the aunties, the cousins, the grandparents? Talk about a sandwich generation, right? They've already taken care of theirs and their little ones, and now they got to take care of grandkids too, right? And possibly their own spouse. I don't want to know what people who have grandkids or kids with autism, but then also have a mother or father with Alzheimer's, dementia have to do. That's not my world, but it is somebody's world right now. That's somebody's world. You're not going to see it in front of the camera. We're not going to come in front and expose ourselves that way. What you might see are headlines about things that didn't go so well. Okay. So I just wanted to share those things because we sometimes make it look fairly easy and funny. And I just saw a really good friend of mine and her child and my child are engaged, whether they know it or not. We've already decided as the parents. It's an arranged marriage. I'm just joking. But seriously, saw them celebrate her for her 16th birthday. We celebrated my son for his 16th birthday. And in front of the camera, it was all the laughs and the singing and the smiles and the using the touch devices and the first words and all the things. But behind the scenes, you don't get to see how we handle our children when they're going through puberty. Can you imagine what puberty was like with just you being neurotypical? Imagine what puberty is like with a child on the spectrum who can't articulate to you what's going on down below. Right? Or they're in public and they're doing things and you know what they're doing. And other people don't know what they're doing. And you're like, how do I stop him from doing what he's doing in public that could cause him to catch a case? I don't believe in catching cases. But that's a different topic to have a conversation. But you don't see those things, right? You're behind this. You don't see the behind the scenes things. These are just a little bit of some little skosh taste. And like I said, horse or not, I'm going to try to come on every weekday in April just to share some things for you to be thinking about. It is World Autism Day. Hooray, hurrah. I do want you treating our kids with respect and honor and humanity, autism and humanity. I do want that. Absolutely want that. But I also want you to start giving these parents a break, okay? I'm not exercising. Hush. These smart watches make you feel not smart, but I didn't ask for you to do anything. I'm not exercising right now. You probably think I'm exercising, but I'm not. But I digress. And I have to end so I can go see my next patient. But bottom line is, you're not going to see all the things, of course. You're not going to see all the things. You're like anything else with any other social media, you're going to see the good, some of the challenging. You might see a little Scotia ugly put on at a humorous bent. We're even going to share some of those. But I'm going to be real talk this month. I'm 50 now. Sorry, I really just don't have time. I just don't have time to pull punches anymore. Okay. And I will leave you with this last thing because I have seen this and it is so real. So based on just a little skosh of what I shared, and that's just not even like a full day in the life of all the things. I have enough patience in my life, sometimes for my patients, a lot of patience for my kids, especially if they're on the spectrum or neurodiverse. I have a lot of patience for them. I don't have time for the drama for anything or anybody else. I'm sorry. I love you with the love of Jesus. I will pray for you. I will fast for you. I will do all the things for and with you to the best of my ability. But an exhaustible amount of patience will not come to you. Let me just be real on that. Will not come to you because between my kids, especially the ones that are neurodiverse, particularly that one that's on the spectrum, we are sometimes just in survival mode. All right. There are days that we're just treading water. And I still have to, on top of all that, see patients and help take on their stuff. Okay. And help them manage their stuff. I don't have time for it. If it's extra stuff, I'm kind of like the queen and the whiz outside of those two areas. Okay. I will pull it together for those two sets of people. But for everybody else, for the rest of y'all, don't bring me no bad news. Okay. If you come to me and you got bad news and you got drama, you got other stuff going on, you need to come with a solution as well. Okay. Come with a solution. Don't just come with drama and a solution. If you're going to bring your drama to me, please bring drama plus a solution. Okay. And then we can have a conversation about the solution and how to help you be the best you that you can possibly be. Okay. Sometimes my patients, the ones that can tolerate it, get a little bit of that too. Because if you've been with me past a certain time, you already know me. You know how I am. Okay, so I just want them to understand that. This is my first TikTok live, so you guys are sending stuff. I see little red things across the top. I'm going to say thank you. I don't know what you're sending. You could be sending curse God and die. I don't know. But I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate those that join live. The recording will be up in different places. They may have to edit a little bit because not everybody can take all of me. But they may have to edit a little bit. But just wanted to share that if you are an autism parent, I see you. I get you. I see you. I get you. Okay. You are not alone. Please don't ever think that you're alone. There are other people out here. We are thriving and we're thriving together. We're going to get it. We're going to get it together. We're going to get to the finish line together. I love the rest of y'all, but for the rest of y'all that may or may not get it, try to get it. Just try. With all that getting, get understanding. If you can't get it, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. But if you're not trying to get it, also leave the judgment someplace else because we just don't have time for it. I literally mean that from the bottom of my heart. We don't have the time for it. We don't have the time for it. Okay. Just saying. Just saying. Okay. With that, I want you guys to have a very blessed day on purpose. You see, I've been waiting for this month all year. I've been waiting for Autism Awareness Month just to say some of these things. Because they need to be said. And I know most parents aren't going to give it to you the way that I'm going to give it to you, but it is what it is. TikTok, I don't know how to get out, but for those, the rest of the platforms, I really do love you with the love of Jesus. And more. Have a great day, a very blessed day on purpose. You guys take care.